What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hi and Hello with me, your host, Tyler, as always. Hope you're all doing well. I know we just talked yesterday, but let's keep going. We have part two of the conversation with me and Rude where we left off yesterday. We pick right back up into it, and honestly, we get into some real crazy shit with this next part, so I hope you guys really enjoy it. Leave a like, leave a comment. Subscribe, share the post a little bit, invite some of your friends to like our page. I'd love to meet some of your friends, and shit, if you want to come on the pod, shoot us a message, hiandhello@gmail.com. See you guys soon. Hey guys, so we decided that we are going to make that into like a little two-parter, because why not? So we're here for another podcast, and I'll bring us back in. We're here with Rude, of course.
What's up?
And the thing that we kind of cut off talking about was like cybersecurity, and like even these days, like shit, there's Twitter, and even Twitter allows some kind of nudity or pornography, which is still kind of strange to me. Like Tumblr, definitely, but when it comes to like sites where modern everyday citizens visit, you have like Facebook, you have Instagram, you have these social media platforms that pretty much everyone knows, but there's so many spots that you can just wedge yourself through the crack and fall into a new realm of the internet. And like it's a dangerous place, but it can also be like the craziest adventure.
I also kind of want to, most def, man. I also kind of want to get into like, not now, the deep web. The deep and the dark web are total different things. You know, we really only use like 20% of the internet. We're not even using the rest of it. The rest of it's like deep web shit. But yeah, it's fucked up, man, because like I was saying before, you know, you can have your child in a place where they might not even be looking for this stuff. They can just be on a site that's going to have a pornographic ad or something like that. They can click on it and see fucking somebody getting fucked like right there, bro. And that's not the best thing for kids, you know what I'm saying? Because, well, I mean, it's the real world, you know what I'm saying? They're going to see it regardless, but at a certain age, it's going to distort the mind. Like, you have to understand, like, when you're a child, it's really important how you raise a child, man. Because if you're raising a child with a certain ideology or, you know, with a certain wavelength of, like, negativity, they're going to become a negative child. You know, it's really weird because I was studying, what is this fucking guy's name? Robert Katowski or some shit like that. I know I got the name wrong. You guys can look him up. The Iceman killer. There we go. I'm about to say the ice truck killer from fucking Dexter. The Iceman killer. And this guy killed like 200 people, man. Like, he was a fucking crazy person. But, you know, a psychiatrist was talking to him, and he was saying like, this was in your DNA because of your father. Your father was this type of guy. And then, so it's already in your DNA. And this gets back into religion and I'm going to get into that. But your father was already this type of guy, so it's in your DNA that you're going to be this type of way. You know, in addition to the fact that you lived in a house where you didn't receive a lot of love. There wasn't a lot of love from your mother and your father. They hated, like, they treated him like shit. And he got into a point where he was killing animals and shit like that. Then he progressed to humans, and he killed like 200 humans. Jesus. You know, and then it kind of gets back into religion a little bit, because it's like, you know, some people always want to say stuff like, okay, God is a loving God and he's not harmful. Well, that same God actually did make the devil, even though the devil is it's referring basically to your lower chakras, your lower self. That's what it's not a real person. It's allegories again. This is metaphors. So when they're talking about God and the devil, usually when they say, I'm going off subject here, but bear with me. When they're talking about the man upstairs and then the guy downstairs, they're speaking about you, because your aspects of your body, your mind, and your lower regions of the body, penis or the vagina, really, you know, just gotta say it how it is. That's your lower self, and it's also associated with your stomach too, because back into the deity that makes you live in this realm, he also puts you in a place where you're always hungry. You always have to find something to eat. People don't really look at these type of things like this as a problem. We're so used to this type of shit because it's a construct of living. Oh, we're going to go get a burger. Why do you eat so much? That's what somebody, and not because you're a heavy-set dude, so
dude,
not to my homie right here at all.
No, not at all. I am a fine, accepting, husky gentleman.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
No offense taken.
No. But you know, just to everybody out there, it's like it's this point of like you having to eat. Like they say you're supposed to eat 6 meals a fucking day. this is not how life is really supposed to go. This is a newer construct, really. Back in the ancient days, like actually there was a point where they didn't have to eat. They ate off of knowledge to the brain, actually. You guys can look this shit up. They ate off of air and other things, right? They didn't have to eat all day like we do nowadays. This is a newer thing. So you're getting yourself into a place where you have to eat all day, and that's your lower chakras. And then your higher chakra and your Jesus Christ energy would be loving and compassionate. And your God chakra, which is Osiris, really is really about your divine knowledge. They show a picture. Some ancient mythologies have a picture of a snake with wings on it. Now, the snake with wings on it is actually referring to knowledge is a snake, because we understand that biting from the tree of knowledge, which God told them not to do, but not because he loved them. He told them that so they really wouldn't understand that they're in prison. They wouldn't understand the nature of that God. So that's why he told them, don't eat from the tree of knowledge, because you're going to know everything. You're going to know what a God knows, because you are a God, but you don't know that. So let me keep you in a place where you don't know this shit. You're going to see a picture of, sometimes there's a picture of a snake with wings on it, and that's referring to knowledge, and then the ability to go out. So the wings is to fly, to not physically fly, but for you to mentally fly to a place where you're out of the realm of humanity. Which means that you can learn something beyond Earth. You can learn a higher knowledge. The knowledge, and then a higher knowledge meaning that you can fly out. That's what that means.
So to go along with that, earlier during our little break, I was talking to you about the constructs of the educational system and existence that we know. Mm-hmm. So not just the American or the Irish or any Canadian, the British or just like any other form of
education,
humanities education, right? Because we're all a whole. We're all technically the same fucking mildewish mold on this giant planet.
Who don't get into that? Yeah.
We always congregate by where water and land meet, Water brings us out. So what I'm getting at is I kind of wish that there was a chance to have that Rumspringa experience, but if you get it right before you go to college, so you can kind of get an experience into like, what do I really want to dive into? And if you want to pursue medicine, or if you want to pursue some kind of like shaman like thinking or anything like that, like you want to explore this one thing, whether it's like, I want to fucking see what it's like to genuinely be in a band, for example, because that's something that we watch these talent shows all the time, where it's like, I want to be the next singer, and like I practice in my room every day, and like you need to vote for me, turn your fucking chair around, please. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what they work for. That whole fucking 8 weeks leading up to is just like that one chance. Yeah. Like, I think it would be beautiful to get that kind of an experience, to where there's people who backpack across Rome, or I went on vacation and just fucking partied it out. Went to Burning Man and Bonnaroo, like took the whole time off to do it, and that's
real shit.
Before I knew I had to go on this next journey of education into some kind of higher learning. I just kind of wish that was brought out a bit more, to where if, for example, you wanted to go genuinely like dig up in Egypt, go do archaeology in Egypt or something, and like I genuinely want to do that. I feel like that should be something that is brought in a little bit more, like giving these people the opportunity to see that it's a lifestyle or a career path that you can follow. And like,
rather than the norm,
instead of just like a career day, or having like bullshit. All these colleges come to a high school and fucking say like, hey, we have a great sports program. Do you play baseball or something?
Fuck
like
that.
that?
To be really honest, I'm not really
some kind of a journey that they take. And like,
I'm not really into the educational system, really, because it doesn't teach you like the basis of like real life. It teaches you how to survive in the matrix.
Here's a question: You went to high school in Chicago
and New Orleans. Yeah.
Did you ever get any kind of like a home ec class, or like home economics class, or like here's a course in life? Like,
nah, man.
We got that, but I found out later is because we had small enough student count to do it.
Yeah, you had a teacher that actually would do that type of shit.
Yeah.
Not part of the regular curriculum, and that's the problem. Nah, I didn't really have that. What I did have was a couple of teachers that actually would kind of teach us certain things on a side basis, when they would kind of break these things down when class wasn't in session. There were some situations of that where we had just a really cool teacher, and they would tell us stuff, and they would say, "Hey, this is how you do this, or this is how you do this." Certain things that would work in life, but even that, to be really honest, doesn't really prepare you for the spiritual journey that I took on my own.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the school system is, like I said, it's a system that gets you ready to get in the system, not really to overcome the system. You have to be Neo out here. You don't really want to be the bald-headed guy eating steak saying, "I want to go back to the Matrix." Remember the bald-headed guy? You know, you don't really want to be that guy. You know, you don't want to be the guy that just exists in it. And that's one thing about you and I. We're millennials. We have a different standpoint on life than our past generations did. Generations did. Generational is not a word. And yeah, exactly, whatever. But I don't want to fault them and make them seem bad. The baby boomers and whatever. But they were just kind of. When you're growing up like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I know they're not all baby boomers. You're happy to work. They were just happy to find a job. We're now in a place where we're doing this, and we're trying to propel ourselves to a point where I got my own radio station. We don't really want to be in that system, and that's what school kind of prepares you for. It prepares you to kind of get out here and just maintain yourself.
Well, that's why you get in trouble when you're tardy.
Exactly.
That's why you're going to stay here longer. And you're going to make up the work you missed, because when we expect you to be here on time, you're here on time.
Yeah, it teaches you.
And for some people, though, they need that.
Yeah.
For some people, they need that discipline, and that discipline kind of sets the stage for them in life. Like, I was reading the other day something about if you woke up and you made your bed every day for 30 days, pristine.
I heard about that too. Yeah, I read about that.
Your life was
going to change.
Well, not just like, it's not like The Secret Book or something like that. It's more of like just getting into that habitual routine. If you wake up every day and you stretch, and you wake up every day and you say this or that, it all kind of comes back to routine when it comes to humanity.
Yeah,
but like, man, routine of like a school is such chaos when you really think about it, because you have so many young beings that just have all of this energy. And like for me, for example, in my school, they had from kindergarten through 8th grade was the school, right? I talked about it earlier, so I won't go too deep into it, but just to catch you up. Kindergarten through 8th grade, you were pretty much with the same 20 to 30 kids from kindergarten through 8th grade. 9 years of growing up.
It's a level of control.
In a building where that's the case for maybe 50 across the board. 50 times 9, 4,000? 50 times 9?
50 times 9?
Yeah.
Like 3,000 something. Yeah.
Well, 9 times 5 is 40. So, regardless, sorry guys, we've been talking a lot. This is going.
Not the best at math either, really.
Yeah. I'm trying to make a point here. Don't judge me on that. But like I said, small school, so you were just hanging out with your brothers all day. You were hanging out with your buddies. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a lot of problems throughout it. But that mentality of going to high school then and not being with the same 25 kids in the class for every subject. 450?
Yeah.
Wow, I was 4,000. My God.
I said 3,000.
That's why the wife's the banker. My wife
exactly.
The bank. She handles the money.
They're good with that.
I love her.
They're great with doing that type of shit, man.
Right.
They're great with stuff we're not good with.
Yeah,
exactly.
Focusing and doing mathematical equations that are simple.
Yeah, we suck.
Yeah, we're bad. But like I was saying, when we get to high school, now you're going from room to room, and they really expect every fucking kid to go from their class through the hallway where there's now thousands of people who are their age. There's cute
and
girls,
not talk.
There's fucking cool guys. There's fucking weirdos that you're just watching walking around. Like, man, look at this guy. Like, I just kind of want to follow him. I've done that before. I've watched kids in high school that were so just goofy that I was like, no, I'm going to go 5 minutes out of my way because I just want to watch what this kid's going to do. He's going to do something silly.
You know, and they
commercial break.
And they do shit where it's like...
And they expect you to go take a piss.
Exactly.
Or take a shit within like 3 minutes.
That's what I was going to say. Like, they do stuff to which it's like, it's something that's not normal for a child at that age. And they put you in a box and not let you allow you to do what a child at that age would actually do. And this is what I'm saying. It's a system of fucking control in a sense, because it doesn't allow a child that's 15, 16, 17 years old to be a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, but we also got to take the good with the bad. Cause, like,
that's true.
Because as much as like we're against it, there are so many positives to having a school experience. That's why, like, I really genuinely felt like honestly bad for some of the kids who I got to go to high school with and see all the time, and then hear like, yeah, they dropped out, they're not going to be here this year. Yeah, and nothing against them because they got their own shit going on.
But that shows you, but that shows you that it's not for everybody though.
But you only get to ride that ride once. I can't be 25 and go back to high school right now.
No,
there's going to be a lot of fucking weird looks if I do that. I have to go to like a 25-year-old's class and go get my GED or something. Yeah, you don't get that ever again. Yeah, college kind of, but that's a little bit different because we shed our skin every fucking like 9 years or so. Hell yeah, and we're a different person throughout life. We're never the same person. And if anyone is the same person every
something's
day,
weird.
Something's off. Yeah, like that's genuinely the truth.
It's weird because I told
switch their beliefs or their opinions or anything, but that's the beauty of it all. Yeah, like if we don't get that option, then we're nothing but that blade of grass, like I was telling you in the dream.
Exactly. So like, you know, it's weird because I was telling my girlfriend that like a couple weeks ago, I was telling her that you never truly know somebody because people, like you just said, you put it in a perfect tense that people shed. They shed their old skin, and that's just a part of evolution. We still evolve. This is why you get old. You're young, you get old, and you die. That's why that makes sense. You still evolve. So no, yeah, it's a very interesting thing because you never truly know somebody. You know, you can meet somebody in high school and they wouldn't do this, and then you meet them now and they're doing that. Exactly that. It's like you never did drugs. What the fuck are you doing now? You're actually fucking, you're a coke addict now. You never know somebody, man. It's because this universe is so vast and you have so much different energy in you. Some of this energy that we, like I said, school and religion holds back. So we don't use. So we let it out. And we act it out and people are like, what the fuck are you doing? Or they're like, man, I never knew you could do that. It can go either or, polarity.
And then again, to go along with your saying with that, though, there's also like the limitless theory. Like, have you ever seen the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper where he takes the pill and he can use 100% of his brain?
Some of it.
For what you were saying, though, like when you were saying, like, man, we were cool back in the day and now you're like a cokehead or something. There's also, to the other side of the coin for that, there's like doctors and there's fucking people who are famous or there's people who are running major companies.
You see, it
pressure.
Yeah,
pressure,
it always goes like this too.
Yeah, they have to dial in. So
they
do the coke for that, and smoke some weed to calm back down. And when we go out to the party tonight, I'm going to use a little ecstasy.
And what's wrong with that?
Blow it all off so I can go to bed.
What's really wrong with that, though?
But that's just
it's here for you to use.
If you can handle your high, if you have that high, whether it be something you smoke or something that you take a pill for, or something that you
drink or
you're
whatever,
depressed and you want to be happy. So take this pill. This is a happy pill. And this is going to make you feel great, and you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to take another happy pill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's bullshit, but...
Well, it is bullshit, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And so, like, as much as we say, like, you take that coke or that crack or whatever, and now, like, oh my God, look at you now. But then again, there's these people taking Adderall, and these people taking fucking all of these opioids, and that's the big epidemic right now, right? With the big, the crime busts in, like, the 70s and stuff, the drug age there, that was all marijuana and coke. Now the big problem is opioids. Now is these doctors wanting to get fucking rich and being like, well, I can take that shit that normally grows on these 4 plants in the Amazon, and if you put it together and it makes kind of like an ayahuasca in a sense, but what we can do instead is we can take away all of that craziness and just focus on these 2 chemicals, and with these 2 chemicals we're going to crush them into a pill and we're going to sell them by the bottle.
You know, it's fucking wild.
Everyone's going to buy it because it's Coca-Cola.
Most of the time
it's McDonald's because they're going to get hooked to it because it's fucking addictive.
Most of the time, like the cool guys in school, man, They never become like, they're never the most fucking successful.
Man, I know one who is, though. And that sucks. I know one who is, man. I follow him on Instagram.
It's usually the fucking weirdos that are outcasts that actually come out here and be something fucking major out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Man, that makes everything you just said.
The one I do know.
Exactly.
He's a cool dude, though. Yeah. So I can't feel bad.
Well, you know, it's not even. Okay, you know what? I'm going to change it up. And not say the cool guys, I'll say the bullies. The bullies never really become anything in life. They're so cool to get all the females or whatever. To be honest, I wasn't a bully, but I still got the females back when I was in school, so it didn't really matter as much. I still was fucking with, I was like a fucking sophomore, and I was fucking with the fucking seniors. I was still doing that. I was fucking like a lot of females or whatever. This school and that school. So I did it already. I did it. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. I mean, but if that's what you're trying to get out of it, like, I feel like high school had a lot of different of those. Like, you play video games, right?
Of course.
So with a console, you get achievements or you get trophies. You get something additional to not just beating it in the game, but now you have it recorded on your hard drive, in a sense, okay?
You're a computer.
So, yeah.
We're all computers.
Exactly. So
computers came from humans.
When we talk like that and you're like, you know, regardless of me being a sophomore or a junior or a senior or even a freshman.
Or not that guy all the way.
My goal was I wanted to talk to somebody who was higher on the totem pole than I. Like,
and I got the numbers.
Right, so I'm just saying, like, you went for that.
Yeah.
And there's some people out there, like, high school itself had so many fucking different... That's the one thing that I've never seen in the real world. The closest I can say is a mall, but not everyone knows each other at the mall. We don't all go to the mall every day.
Know everybody that's there.
And we don't fucking get our lunch from the mall. And we know that this lunch lady is going to give us just a little bit more because I a sweet talker when I go in. I'm like, how you doing, Dolores? Or you know what I mean? Like, cornbread smells good today. It smells good today. What, an extra piece? Dolores, how's your husband? Is he still alive?
Right.
Call me if he dies. You know what I mean? But we don't get that anymore. We get it at bars occasionally. Like, high school was such a fucking weird experience to where you have these creatures who are going to stand at the front of the room and they're going to tell you all of the information that we've acquired so far that we think is good and that you should know. And they tell you it all, and if you don't pass the test, you will sit back here in this room next year, mister. Like, I knew one kid who got held back like 4 or 5 fucking times, but it was like throughout the whole school thing. He got held back in fucking first grade, man.
How the fuck do you get held back in first grade?
He didn't learn to count quick, or like coloring was kind of out of the lines. I don't really know.
That's incredible.
But I think he was just more of an asshole.
See, you have to understand this too, though. Like, a lot of people that can't cope with society are the most spiritual people that are actually there.
Right.
They know more than we do. Like, people that are schizophrenic, I know. Listen, like I said before, guys, you have to understand everything I'm saying is going to come back. Polarity. So there are some people that are schizophrenic. They're in a place where they might fuck somebody up, but there's also people that are schizophrenic and they see more than you. And then people, we write this off as something that's like, okay, these fucking guys are crazy, but it's like, what if you're crazy for not knowing what they know, though? People don't think like this, though. They don't have this train of thought. What if they're actually more sane than you are because they're actually seeing what the world is all about, and you're stuck in a system where you only see realistically, but what the fuck is realistically?
That's a lot of things that happen with dimethyltryptamine, with DMT.
Of course.
A lot of the stories. There's a great YouTube video you can watch where this lady who's
never did DMT yet.
Yeah. Not to be trifled with from what I hear.
Or ayahuasca.
I don't want to fly somewhere to do a drug.
No, you can make ayahuasca here. You can. It's not going to be. It's not going to be the tribal real shit.
Yeah, you're not like there's a reason why they do it because it all comes back to as much as polarity, but tribalism.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they found somebody at some point found 2 different plants. And if you don't know what dimethyltryptamine is, this is basically a cliff note, real quick. It's a drug called DMT. There's they call it the spirit molecule, the spirit molecule, the God molecule, the God particle.
Yep.
The premise.
But really, everybody, I gotta do this little disclaimer. You have DMT in you already.
Yes, that's what
you are DMT. But if you want to, it's like this though. You can. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
You're fine. You're fine.
You can study all this stuff and kind of get there organically. But if you want like a little bit of a boost, shrooms, LSD, to some extent, you really want to be careful with that. And DMT, you want to be really careful with that as well. Ether, you want to be careful with that as well. Peyote, you want to be careful with that as well. Those are kind of shortcuts to kind of getting there, but you can get there on your own. You don't need these things to be a spiritual person.
Well, that's what a lot of people say about like yoga and meditation. It's the same idea. Mm-hmm. This shit just apparently rockets you there.
Yeah,
like,
it takes you there.
You in,
but I have to say this is very important. If you take this shit and you're not fucking ready, you can lose yourself forever.
You know, when you guys would hear stories in the lunchroom about that kid who was riding his bike and he had a sheet of acid taped to his leg and he got caught up in a rainstorm or a sprinkler. It's different for everybody, man.
What movie was that?
I don't know. I think it was just, it might have been from a movie, but I think that every small town has like, or not small town, but every high school has their urban myths. And one of the urban myths is the guy who's driving around or riding his bike with the sheet of acid and it melts into his skin.
He loses it. Never comes back.
It's different for everyone, though.
Yeah.
Like for mine, it was he thinks he's a cup of orange juice, and if you push him over, he thinks he's going to spill. So he sleeps standing up in like a rig.
Oh my
and like
God,
all day
bro.
he stands and he like stands in a corner. But obviously, I don't know if it's real or not. If anyone has a story like that, let me know, because I know there's so many different like high school urban myths that were so silly. There was another one where this guy was telling me that he knew a guy who was going down on some girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, she just got out of like a sports practice and it was just wrecked. And he's like, she was sweating.
Can't do it.
So what he did is he popped in a Jolly Rancher, Okay, and he was sucking on a grape Jolly Rancher going to town, and he ends up losing the Jolly Rancher, and he goes to bite down on what he thinks is the Jolly Rancher.
It's a fucking pussy.
It's a herpes sac. And when he bites into it, it just goes squirt like all over. But it's stupid shit. Like
it made that shit the fuck up.
Exactly.
Probably.
I've heard that story 1,000 times, and when I was in high school, I heard it from other people, like telling the story, trying to get a joke, and it was a different thing. Like it was this or that, or it was gonorrhea, or it was something.
The telephone effect.
Right. It's the telephone effect, but with these stories that were in high school, which is just hilarious to me that each generation kind of gets that telephone effect joke. Like there's some line that was probably the popular story in like when all the guys were in the fucking gym, locker room talking shit like that. Like I don't know, I just think that's one of the funnier things that
it's funny that we're talking about effects, because I kind of want to get into the Mandela effect a little bit.
Oh, I love the Mandela effect.
Yeah. So before I even kind of get into that, have you heard anything like a little bit newer on that shit? Like some newer shit?
So I'm familiar with the Bernstein.
Yeah, that's the older ones. Yeah.
That's an older one. I'm familiar with one of the older ones that is the Shaq or whatever his name is for the Kazam movie. It was
Kazam. No, not Shaq. It was Sinbad.
It was Sinbad.
Yeah.
But Shaq was actually the one.
He was actually in the yeah. No, that movie existed. I don't care what nobody said.
I fell for a lot of those stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I remember Bernstein. I remember Bernstein Bears, not Bernstein Bears. No,
Me too,
Bernstein.
Yeah.
But then again, you know what I also wonder? I wonder if the people who taught us just fucking gave us the book
made a mistake.
Bernstein, whatever.
No. Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
That was it. It wasn't Luke. No, I know, man. You can't. I know that was not how the fuck it is now. I know that shit 100%.
So people, what do you think we crossed over? Do you think we at some point? Because there's been so many times where we've had it recently more than in the past, where it's like some shit's about to happen in space. Like there's about to be this huge fucking what was it? There's all these big blood and supermoons happening lately.
Yeah.
There was the giant eclipse that just happened.
Yeah.
There was 2012, which was the end of the Mayan calendar.
Well, I can get into that very easily. Yeah, I can definitely get into that.
Jump into too much.
No, that's cool. It's cool. I could definitely get into that. The reason why that's happening is because we're entering in a new age. I always come back to Christians somehow, but you have to understand, Jesus Christ was representing the Pisces age. We're moving into the age of Aquarius now. Whenever there's a planetary shift between ages, this shit happens. Now, if you guys don't believe what the fuck I'm saying, Google's your best friend. So go ahead, do your thing. But no, we're moving into another age. We're already actually into the age of Aquarius. That's why we have the computers. The age of Aquarius means the age of knowledge, the age of knowing, the age of Gnosticism, because Gnosticism means knowing or knowledge. I think it's probably both of those. So we're moving into the age of Aquarius, and that means it's going to be a planetary shift, and things are going to get different. Things are going to get weird. Now, the CERN thing, the Mandela effect thing is the CERN thing. They're fucking with CERN right now, and CERN is opening up different portals and alternate realities. But I mean, they would know that this whole shit would be fucking different if they did it too much. So Gandhi and Malcolm X, all that bullshit has to still exist, but they're doing it just slightly, that you're seeing things that are slightly off, and you might just fucking go mad under trying to understand it, because they're fucking with portals right now. They're fucking with intergalactical portals that will put us in a time period or in a space where we're slightly off from where we were before. So wild turkey might be bowed turkey or some shit like that. I'm just using a fucking reference. So that's why that's happening like that.
So basically what on a layman's term is the universe is going to be going through a system update.
Basically,
and, everything is going to be just revamped. Like nothing different. Nothing's going to be really changed. There might be a few new things that happen in your timeline.
Oh no, all this shit is changing.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of it, though.
Right.
At the beginning of it, it's going to be small changes. In the future, 2050, it's going to be a drastic change. And this comes into this is why the universe. Listen, now this is some very spiritual shit that most people don't understand. The universe births itself every year around March, April, May, June, July. The spring, the earth is springing up into existence again. The earth kills itself around fall. Winter is the death. That's what winter is. So I'm saying I can do this shit all fucking day. This is what I study. So I know a lot about all this type of weird shit. It's not weird though, it's just weird to you. The earth kills itself in fall. it begins to kill itself in fall. It kills itself in the wintertime, rebirths itself in spring, and is alive again in the summer. This is what it does. So it also that happens on a yearly basis. But the universe is like the human body. It has a larger version of that as well, which it kills itself off from the old. There's a segment in the Bible in which Moses goes on the top of the mountain. Not Moses. Yeah, I think it is Moses, but no. I think Horus, before the Bible.
It's a lot to remember.
It's very lot to remember. I'm trying to get it. Somebody goes to the top of a mountain. I got you. Somebody goes to the...
Or they'll look into it. There's a book.
Exactly. Somebody goes to the top of the mountain and he says, okay, if you want to come with me to the new age, come up here. If not, then you'll die with the leaves. Or something of that sort. So that's what the universe does, man. These are allegories pertaining to the universe and what we live in, and the human body and the galaxy, because the universe, the human body, and the galaxy is all one. They're all one thing. You are a living expeditious version of the universe. You are an external version of the universe and the earth. You are the earth, and the earth is the universe, and the universe is you. So come on, man, I can do this all day. This is what you are. So the body goes through a human change. The year goes through a different cosmetic change, and the universe goes through a cosmetic change. All of it, this all changes. So right now we're moving. This is why schools are not allowing people to do the morning father, what is it called? The blessed father, the prayer for Christianity. They're not even letting them do that anymore. They're going to sit there and tell you, it's because of the fact that there's so many different people in America, we don't want to offend anybody. It's that, but it's also the fact that we're moving into a different paradigm. We're moving into a different understanding. This is why the internet exists. This is why streaming services exist. This is why YouTube exists, because we're moving into a time of knowledge and knowing. So everything's coming back.
I read this article a few days ago about this church that no longer has paper Bibles, and they're all iPads directly on the back of the seats. So when they say, we're going to go to this hymn, there's no flipping a page. It loads on the iPad in front of you, and you sing the song like a karaoke.
Yeah,
and
man.
It's every 6 or 7 stalls or some shit.
250,000 years from now. Well, I'm not going to say that. 250,000 the year. 2050, they're not going to really understand what Christianity is. They're going to be like, Christianity, what is that? Because we're moving into another time. But there's going to be books and rhetorics and relics of these things, so that people can put the pieces together and say, okay, this is their religion that they used to fuck with.
Are you familiar with Ricky Gervais?
No.
Ricky Gervais is a comedian from London, I want to say, or I don't know.
Okay.
He's a European comedian who created The Office, but he's got this great line he said once, where he said, the reason I have trouble with religion over science, is you can have the Library of Alexandria with everything burned down, right? All the religious texts burnt down, all of the science texts burnt down. But if you go back and you do all the tests again, the science is the same. And if you go back and try to retell the story, you're going to add your own twist to the tale to spicing it up, to make it more entertaining.
Exactly.
So that's why he is against religion, in a sense, organized religion at least, not believing in it all has a purpose or a higher power, but over the science community, because there's a big riff in that. We used to not allow church and state. Remember, that was a big thing. I do remember that. Now that's all we hear about is how happy God is about our state. Now another thing is we take that and we say that God or a higher power gave us this land, and this land is your land, this land is my land. We sing the songs, we say everything, but when it really comes down to it, we don't believe the scientists about climate or anything else, but we believe them when we want a microwave to work, and some scientist builds or engineers something. Okay, we're fine with that kind of
let's
research.
Let's get into science.
We're cool with that kind of a discovery. But we don't trust our research from the same study, the same form of study, science.
Well, I'll tell you why. There's a man, scientists still don't understand why the fuck we dream. See, this is what I'm saying. I fuck with science, but I'm way more into spirituality than I'll ever be into science. Right. Science is great.
That was just mostly for the line he said.
No, I get you. I got you. I'm gonna get to that. I fuck with it when it comes to these two elements can make a spontaneous combustion to do this. Science is great with that. But when it comes to outworldly shit and spirituality, science it can't answer that. It says, they say stupid shit, I'm sorry. Like, there is no afterlife. And I mean, I know that is such a fucking fictitious ideology that I can't even really, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that I can fucking say, yeah, you know, he's right about that. But you know what? Science is also coming back on that now. They just did a study recently on near-death experiences, and it was saying that people actually are having some level of consciousness when they're not alive. There's something else. This is not it. This is not it. Trust me.
Right.
Your higher self is beyond this. But like I said, science is really good with what type of glass can we put into this so that it won't shatter if a train passes by. Science is great with that. I'm fucking with them with that. But they don't even understand lightning. They don't even understand lightning. And this is, if you don't believe what I'm saying, guys, look this up. There's a video, 50 things that science still doesn't understand. And there's a lot of things that they don't understand why we dream. They don't understand why bikes have 2 wheels and they can stand up perfectly while you're riding it. They don't understand. There's a lot of things that science doesn't understand. And even that, the theories that they've come up with, you know, to the
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem. There you go. Pythagoras, his theorem, and I think I think that's right. Him. And wasn't it him against, like, I always forget his name for some reason. It's him, his theory versus another scientist. I'm gonna say it like that. What's the most famous? Einstein.
Yeah.
I think Pythagoras and Einstein had a different understanding about matter, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was that. Please, fact check me, please.
I'm gonna double check what we're.
Because there's a lot of information. It's hard for me to obtain it sometimes. And they couldn't even decide on that shit. And by the time that.
No, we are so wrong.
We're so wrong?
We are so wrong.
Okay, let's
theorem is nowhere near anything that has to do with existence, and we're going to laugh so hard. You ready?
Okay.
In mathematics, the Pythagorean theorem, also known as Pythagoras theorem, same word, is a fundamental relationship in Euclidean geometric pattern among the 3 sides of a right triangle.
Okay.
So, no, the Pythagorean theorem.
Something totally different. Sorry about that, guys.
The title.
Okay, but
on hour 3, give or take, today, so my mind's a little mushy, but
mine too.
It sounded right. It sounded cool.
Sounded right, but it's not right though. Okay, it has to be right. Okay, this is right. Einstein and another scientist had a problem with understanding if matter makes reality or reality makes matter. That's it. Okay. Now you can look that shit up. I'm sure that's going to be
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Keep going. I'm just looking that up so we can get the name of it. You're good. Keep going.
Sorry about that, guys. But their theories didn't even match. And by the time that Einstein died, he said, I still didn't all the way 100% prove that my theory is real. So that's what I'm saying. Science is really good with using things that's in physicality to make sense. But it's not very good. It's not very good when it comes to spirituality. Now, what you got?
So, from what the quick Google search was, is...
Yeah, because we're going to fact each other. We're going to fact check everything we say, guys. So don't think that we're just talking out of our asses here.
I'm going to come back to it in our outro for this, just so we don't waste time too much on it. But I think it's the whole argument.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, but we'll keep going.
Okay.
Because I really like this conversation. So I don't want to lose it. Let's keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So they can't even decide on what the fuck life is all about based off of them being scientists, because there's always new algorithms, and that kind of leads me sometimes to believe, is there any definitive truth, or is there only a truth for a specific person? You know what I'm saying? Is there like one consciousness of a group of understanding and truth, or is it truth for that person? You know,
right.
But there's been evidence that certain things are not real and certain things are. You know, but it really just makes you kind of like sit back and like fucking think about what the fuck is truth. It's a very different thing that most people really want to get into every day. What exactly is truth? Because truth for someone can be something they can believe that they saw this and it was just like that, and somebody else can see the same thing and have a different truth. And who's wrong or right? Really, I'm to believe that they're both kind of right somewhat in some way.
Yeah, because truth at its core, I guess, would be the idea that this is how it played out. Truth is reality.
Exactly.
And truth comes into it is when you're sharing the reality that was witnessed.
Okay.
And I think the argument there would be that you're right. There is a lot of people who come in this room and have done this podcast, and if it came down to it, they asked you, hey, which book here was right here? Mm-hmm. You could say it was this book, someone could say it was that book, and there could be 4 or 5 different responses.
You could both be right.
But it doesn't change the fact that you were in this room.
Yeah.
And you did witness it at some point. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just, there's 5 different stories as to how that shit played out.
Yeah.
So truth would be, at its core, the
definitive
the reality.
Yeah.
It's definitive.
Yeah.
But that's when we get all fucking wishy-washy with, media and with the telephone game. You know what I mean? Like, what was the truth between those 2 high school folklore?
Yeah.
Like,
what's the real origins of Jesus Christ?
Exactly.
Like, no, like, what is it really?
And see, those are the questions that get swept under the rug because we're just in it for the story. We're in it to kill time, learn something out of it, talk about it, or, make that joke and then drop it. No one's really dived deep into that situation of, what is the ultimate definitive fact of what happened in that moment in this space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, man.
And that's what was blowing my mind earlier when we were talking about the internet, and not to go like too dark web or like deep into that, because that's a conversation within itself.
Exactly.
I often sit there and just think of like, this is something stupid that I started doing when I moved to the city. But like, for example, like how many windows are in Chicago?
I do that type of stuff
You
all
know
the
what I
time.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I count the bricks in a
downtown
building and all that
street.
shit. Yeah.
And like just to think how, top it, man, you're good. How
you got me in the mode right now.
No,
bro.
you're fine. How many different items have been replicated?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over again. We have machines that can make 1 million bottles of Coca-Cola, and we know that those aren't all getting properly recycled, so they're existing somewhere along the rock as well. It's like we're only concerned about the room we're in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which
Yeah,
I think is a really, really a sad fucking thought, but it's kind of true.
Yeah, the world doesn't exist when you're inside your house, man.
With the replication of everything that we make, whether it's brick, whether it's the same IKEA bookshelf, or the same copy of the book, or the same fucking Batman toy, or this and that, the one thing that we're starting to see is human replication. Because every day we get closer to some weird breakthrough, and like nowadays, like they'll take fucking a cell from a spinal cord and regrow a fucking ear or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, where do you think it's gonna go without talking about it from technology? Where do you see man's side of it all? Like, we can talk about the robots and we can talk about the technology, the internet, like all of the digital side of it. But earlier we talked about the Amish community that was making their own fucking blankets and stuffing it with wool from their own sheep. And like, we made the beds. Those are our beds. We didn't go buy those. We made the beds. And then when we don't need this bed, it goes to this other part of our family because they might need a bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, where do you see the human being in that even 20 to 50 years down the line? Do you see interactions being the same? Do you see everyday things that we take for granted now, like going to a restaurant and looking across to a person? Because there's already, like, screens in a fucking booth now.
If we're gonna break this down, I gotta say that you brought up earlier like the multiverse thing, the multi-dimensional thing.
Right.
I feel in an aspect that it can go either way. It can be a future in which we don't even really talk anymore. We have these fucking automatrons that can actually speak for us. Animatrons that can do the job for us, and we don't even have to use our fucking mouths anymore. Or it can go in a very different path. It can go in a spiritual path to which we get back to a point where we can speak telepathically. We don't have to use any fucking words anymore. We don't even have to. Technology is a thing of the past. And now, this is a whole other conversation for like another fucking day. It can go doomsday, where all this shit's fucking destroyed, and we have to come back again to figure out how the fuck are we gonna do this shit. It starts off ground zero beta shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it starts fucking Genesis again. You know, so
like you said, the Earth kills itself.
The Earth kills itself, so, and it brings a new.
Civilizations have done that, and this fucking planet's what, 5 billion years old or something along those lines.
Probably older than that.
Probably,
yeah.
As far as we can tell, and that's just based off like rocks and shit. Like, that's how far science has come, that we can see this stuff, like the rings around a tree.
Yeah.
But to go along with it a little bit, when you like, if you were to close your eyes and describe the utopia life that we could have in 2050, what do you see, man? Like,
I'm seeing
it? Like, how would you see Rogers Park in 2055? Like, I'm just genuinely honest, man. If you fucking just honed it for a second and just describe it without like jumping in too deep about like why, but just like what would you see?
I can see what I'm seeing. I've seen before in my dreams would be more of the destruction and the doomsday.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeing more. I'm seeing more of a revamping of society, revamping of the world, revamping of the system. I'm seeing that more than anything else. I'm seeing a World War III, something of that lines happening, climate change, whatever, a great catastrophe that takes over LA, because they're saying that's going to happen too. New Orleans is going to break off into its own fucking island, is what I'm also hearing. New York too. Then there's going to be a piece in the middle where it's just surrounded by fucking water. The way that the universe is acting right now, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing more of a spiritual... I'm seeing all of them. I'm seeing a little bit of technology, different variations of spirituality, and I'm seeing very much of a starting over in a doomsday clock situation. World War III, I'm not exactly sure how it happens. If I do the meditation long enough, I will know and ask those questions, because if you meditate, you have to ask certain questions and you'll get a certain answer if you do it for long enough. That's how meditation works. But you have to do it for a while, though. You have to fast also. I'm not going to get into that.
Real quick, that matches a dream that my grandma told me about. And it was her family farm that she always lived at, I believe is where it was at. And they have Amish community near them. That's why I kind of brought them up earlier. I knew about Rumspringer.
Right.
And she said that one of her great-great-granddaughters, my grandma was long gone by then, came walking out of the house with the other women of the family. They were all dressed in like tattered garb, all the same minute color, or not minute, the same mute color, where it's just like canvas white, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they all had blindfolds on, and they were being led out by some guys, like they were in a militia, and they were all getting in the back of like a fucking army little Humvee, and they all had fucking shovels, and they were going to go out to where used to be this farmland where they would make corn. And corn, when you think about it, is like the great American export. Besides
one of them,
one of them at least, for food wise, because they can make so much out of corn oil and like glycerin and shit like that. You know what I mean? And they were going out into these deserted cornfields, what used to be vibrant green and fucking full of life, and they were digging holes for their fucking husbands and their brothers and all the fallen.
That's what I'm seeing.
Battle.
I'm seeing that.
So, like,
not to be grave, right? That's what I'm seeing, though.
But I also hope that maybe that was a mindset mentality we had when we were in our last state of being before we switched over.
Yeah.
Like you said, now we're in the age of what's it again? Aquarius, or what is it?
The age of Aquarius.
Yeah, and it's the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right?
The age of knowing.
Yeah, it's the age of knowledge, but then again, you have like that whole Terminator aspect of it. Like, do we destroy ourselves? Will something do? It's either going to be we destroy ourselves, we are destroyed by an element, or we just continue
the government
on. Or just continue on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we say the government's not... I don't think the government's ever going to turn its people for one fucking reason. The government is in control of something. Okay? And when you're in control of something, you control it. Now, here's the thing. If people decided to flip and like, no, we're all going to fucking riot out in the street or something like that...
They would have to.
Why? Because you're going to have the same kind of detrimental fucking... You're not going to go back home and go to sleep. You know what I mean? It's going to be Katrina. The government will take you down and take you out, and then guess what? It's over. If you get a chance, anyone listening, you should really check out Wild Wild Country. If you haven't checked it out yet, Rube, it's a beautiful fucking Netflix documentary about this commune out in Oregon that basically took over a small town of 50 people who were like retirement age, and at one point they get so big in it that they start running for like city governor, like they want to take over Oregon. It's fucking crazy. You look into it, guys, yourself. But
well, just to chime in a little bit, I kind of feel like they wouldn't do that because they already know that it's like 20 billion people,
and they conquered it once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They conquered this land once. I think
organized,
they can do it again.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's what I'm saying. Like, it's really important how you're looking at it because you're looking at it from both aspects. You can't totally throw the baby out with the bathwater because it could still be a situation where that does happen. they might, because think about it, it's a lot easier to control people if there's less of us here. This goes into conspiracy theories. I'm not really big into conspiracy theories, guys. I'm going to let you know that. I was at a certain point, but some of them, they do have some validity to them, to be really honest. They're valid, but I'm not really into them anymore. But I don't know, you know, people are saying that they want to have half the population because it's easier to control them. It's easier to control them. It's easier to keep people in line with a certain ideology or rhetoric if you don't have a lot of them, or you don't have as many of them walking around here. And it makes sense. And see, this is when I go to my other side, because I also study occult science. And this, you know, this is some things that people need to kind of understand. The Earth is overpopulated, guys.
Oh,
definitely. So it's like, man, it's kind of fucked up, because it's like I don't want anybody to get hurt really on, you know what I'm saying, just in front of me on my own merit. I wouldn't do that. But the Earth is overpopulated. It definitely is. Now, do I think that we should need to go outside and kill people? The fuck no. I mean, come on, that's fucking insanity.
That's the Thanos thought.
That's the Thanos thought.
Not saying anything more or less.
Exactly, but Thanos is wrong, but Thanos is right. You guys, we have to stop looking at everything as good and bad too, because the universe is not good and bad. Mother Nature is not good and bad. It doesn't give a fuck if you're out camping with your daughter. It's gonna maul you if a bear comes through. Period. It doesn't give a fuck about. Mother Nature is not good or bad, bro. The universe is not really good. There's nothing really good or bad, because I'll give you a scenario. Let's say an old lady's walking down the street. You walk her and hit her in the back of the head with a fucking shovel. That's a terrible thing to fucking do. But let's say that old lady actually killed your whole family and trying to kill you now, and you caught her outside one day on her own. Is that a bad thing? You killed this woman. She killed your whole family. You're getting vengeance.
It's context. It's context, man.
Exactly.
It's context. Like, there's... And almost to bring it back to our topic of religion just for a second, like, the reason people fall in line and everybody... Like, the reason this all works, that me and you can sit here, press record, and no one's fucking with us, and we don't have to go check in to do this or anything else, is because we all know that there's consequences to our actions.
Of course.
No one's in here right now being a security guard and making sure that me and you are talking about what we should talk about, are making sure that our opinions and our views match whatever the fuck that we're going to share. They're making sure that, like, the whole, you know, system's working, but from a controlling standpoint, no one's really doing that. It's a consequence. If you hit somebody upside the head with that, yes, there's going to be a consequence, but if there's also, you know, what is it? Every action has a reaction and an opposite reaction. Yeah, it's consequence. That's all it
is. Yeah, it's cause and effect, really. This is why, in the normal sense, I don't really believe in karma like other people believe it. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. It's not true. Somebody can kill 1,000 people and fucking go to Mexico and just die from a heart attack. It doesn't work like that. Like, the chances of somebody killing you after you kill 1,000 people is cause and effect. You killed somebody, and now they recognize that, they're angry about that, they're gonna come kill you. It's not karma, though.
It's bounty hunting.
Exactly. It's fucking somewhat bounty hunting. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause and effect is, okay, if this glass is next to the edge of this table and I tip it over and there's water in it, it's gonna spill. That's karma. It's not karma. Oh, I hit it, knocked it over, now it's gonna spill on the ground. That's karma. You should never did that. It's a bad thing. It's not like that. We have to change the way that we're looking at life. I mean, I've definitely done so, and this worked numbers for me. You know, I'm at a place that really 2-3 years ago I never thought I would be. But karma, you know, karma is not exactly how we think that it is. Just because you stab somebody to death doesn't mean that you're going to get stabbed to death before it doesn't before you die. It doesn't work like that.
It's not always an equal reaction.
No.
I get what you're saying.
Listen, I know people. I'm definitely not going to give any names out. That have done some things. Yeah. I know people that have done some things, and they're living a good life. They left that life. They're living a better life now. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, there's not really a yin to the yang when it comes to cause and effect.
No.
But that's more for consequence as well.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky side of the coin is, you know, you can flip it either way. When you think of what a consequence or, like, what your conscience will, like, hold on you or whatever, each person's new. You know what I mean? Each person has a different reaction to everything. Most people, and the greater good of humanity, you'd like to think, are law-abiding citizens who follow the ways of society and they try not to disrupt it. But living amongst us are also members of society who have done a lot of bad, and whether you know it or not, they can either hold it back, and that's something that they have and they deal with on their own, or there's the people that you can very well see that they're fucking a bad guy.
Yeah.
Bad guys exist.
Of
You
course.
know what I mean? It's not just a trope for storytelling. A bad guy exists.
Well, I mean, it would be a bad guy based off of what we call bad.
What we call bad,
yeah.
exactly.
Not really bad, though. Just what he is. Some people are
that's-
born with that energy to do stuff like that, though.
But maybe that's what it comes to. Maybe that dystopian look is eventually the bad guy shows up. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Who the fuck knows if in our thought towards the future, what if it's, and like in my grandma's dream, for example, what if it's not another being from this planet we're fighting? Or what if it's not a cause? What if it's the Earth itself, kind of like in The Last of Us? What if nature decides to fucking take out humanity? Or like, there's all of these different options that we're going to be juggling. We won't find out until we get there.
Yeah.
But like, there's, fuck, how do I describe it? There's just so many outcomes to play. There's so many outcomes to play, guys. You know what? We're gonna cut it here for a little bit because we're about to hit another hour, and I know we could keep fucking going because that's what we did the first time.
Yeah.
So, Rude, real quick before we get out of it, any final words, man? Anything you want to say? What's up, man?
Man, I said some.
Anything to plug? What's up?
Yeah. I'm gonna plug in like my Facebook. If you guys want to go to my Facebook and send me a friend request, that's totally fine. It's Rashawn Hall. Rashawn is spelled Reshaun. The Rude as in TheRude. Hall HALL. That's my Facebook page. You can also, always get down with that. I'll definitely accept your friend request. I'm also on YouTube, Dr. Mercury. The easiest way to find me though, it's just to go to YouTube and type in Rude, Rude, Death of a Templar. It's going to be one word though, DOAT. Death of a Templar. Listen to my music on there. I do rap. I couldn't even get to that on this podcast. We got so much shit that was going on the podcast. I couldn't get to it. Go on there. I got some videos where I'm breaking down certain things. If you guys like what I'm saying, man, subscribe. Like the channel, like the videos and all that shit, man.
We'll also post all of the links below.
Okay.
In the comments, so if you guys want, it'll be a little bit easier. But if you're not at your phone right now, or like your laptop, and you're listening to it on your phone, you can come back and check it out. Thank you so much, man.
Always,
I
man.
hope you had a lot of fun. We didn't really get to say thank you on the end of the last episode. That's because we kind of just rolled through it.
Yeah.
But I really, really, really appreciate you making the time for us today and staying and doing a second one with me, because I was having so much fun, and I was at close to the hour mark when we stopped the last one. I was like, man, I wonder if I can see if he's cool to go another hour. And you were fucking awesome. So I think
you're my guy, man. I got you, bro. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it very much. Dave, you got anything? No, all right. He's still quiet, guys. One of these episodes, we're gonna get Dave going. He just sits here and watches us every time. So I'm gonna start asking, and maybe one day Dave will say hi to y'all. All right, guys. Be good. Be kind to each other. Question everything. And the only word you'll ever need to know in life is why. All right. Love you guys. Hey everybody, thanks again for sticking around with us for part 2 of my interview with Rude. Rude, as always, man, you're more than welcome to come on the pod to clear up what we were talking about earlier with the whole Pythagorean theorem conversation. Turns out it was the board debate, I do believe, is what we were trying to get across there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for tuning in for another episode. Like I said at the start, like the page, share the page, invite your friends. You want to come on the pod, shoot us an email, hiandhello@gmail.com. We're going to have the website up soon. We're going to get this fucking YouTube thing figured out eventually. One of these days, guys, we're going to get you as much content as we can, as quick as we can. Thanks, guys. Enjoy. We'll see you on Friday.